Is guacamole a fruit salad?
What is the best milkshake for bringing boys to the yard?
Ostriches are dinosaurs.
Don't piss off old people. New game.
What do you mean it gives you Arby's mouth?
Artisanal muck duck balls.
I think they call that autofellatio.
I want to high five a shark.
Welcome to Bar Banter. Relax, have a drink with us as we debate the most controversial topics in the world today.
On today's podcast, we talk about... We're definitely demonetized now. If I talk over it, I think it's okay.
That landed actually really nicely. We talk
did.
about and then shots. Yeah.
It was perfect. It was well done. We talk about the best non-American alcoholic beverage. Then we talk about what time is it appropriate to start drinking. And lastly, what is the worst liquor? But first, Andrew Mullis, what are you drinking?
I was going to make something really special tonight, and then I got super lazy and traffic sucks. So I'm just going classic tequila and ginger beer.
Nice.
A little bit of lime. I had it around. Benjamin, how about you?
Yeah, I wanted to make a cocktail in lieu of tonight's topics as well. But I went a little different, kind of relates to a couple of topics, but I went a tequila sunrise. And yes, I know it's 9 o'clock at night, but too bad. You can have it anytime you want. Travis, what are you drinking?
I am popping. I still got it because I'm a slow drinker now. Now these words aren't words. I still got it because I'm a slow drinker nowadays. I've got my Redwood Empire's Emerald Giant rye whiskey from Sonoma, California, and it's tasty and it's delicious, but it's not the liquor.
It's almost gone.
It is almost gone. I won't finish it tonight, but it's getting there. It's not the liquor that goes into my favorite non-American drink, though.
Because it's American.
It is American. That's true. Guys.
We hope we can have American ingredients in our non-American drinks.
Yeah, we'll kind of play it loosey-goosey. There's
No.
Yeah, whatever. Because a lot of these drinks you can get in the U.S., but it's like, what is it from the U.S.? Whatever. But I want to know, take all of the American bullcrap out of here in terms of alcohol. And what's the best non-American alcoholic beverage? Who's got thoughts?
I have so many thoughts.
Tell me.
So, all right. So for me, best non-American drink is, it's so many different categories, whether it's wine, whether it's a cocktail, whether it's beer, whether it's just a straight up liquor. I had a hard time kind of going through and figuring out what I wanted to pick with this. Because honestly, 80 to 90% of what I drink is not American. So as far as my favorite non-American liquor, I had to stick with my Pride and Joy whiskey, and I had to grab a country that is close to Scotland. A lot of people are going to go with Scotch whiskey. They're going to say it's the best in the world, and to a lot of people it is. But I'm going to go just a little bit over and jump over to Wales. Best whiskey I've ever had in my entire life is made out of Wales. It's called Penderyn. It's aged in a port wine cask, and it is unbelievable. It's like $100. By far the best single malt whiskey I've ever had in my entire life. So Penderyn Portwood. Honestly, if you can find a bottle, grab it, sip it, enjoy it.
You said it's Penderyn because I'm gonna look for it.
Penderyn, Penderyn, and it's called Portwood. They make a lot of different ones. They age, and there's one to age in a Madeira cask. There's some other ones, but the one aged in the port cask, the Portwood, is phenomenal.
Glenmorangie, I think I'm pronouncing that right, has a port cask as well.
Yeah, probably does. I mean, Glenmorangie has a lot of different ways that they do their whiskey. So solid brand.
Honestly, anything aged in a port cask.
Yeah, right.
I can't think of one that I've disliked.
Yeah. Is there a mixed cocktail or mixed beverage that you like that's up there, like maybe you were struggling with over the Penderyn? I think I said that right. I don't know.
Penderyn, yeah,
Penderyn. Good. It's close. I like Penderyn because it reminds me of Drew's wearing a panda.
Yeah, I mean, for me, this one's harder because I love tequila cocktails. I love rum cocktails.
Mhm.
I'm basing both of those as, non-American cocktails is based on what the liquor is. But like, I don't like mojitos. So that would fall. A lot of people would probably put that at the top as far as a non-American cocktail. I'm not a huge fan. I don't like the texture of the mint while I'm drinking. I guess for me, give me any kind of sweet rum cocktail or really any kind of unique margarita as far as a non-American go-to best cocktail. We've had the margarita conversation on here before, but I'm not trying to get super, fancy with my non-American traditional cocktails. Usually it's coming up with a cocktail and it can interchange with different liquors, but a margarita or like a rum punch, you can't interchange that with a whiskey or a vodka. Like that's the liquor that goes in it. Those would probably be my go-tos, but for me, it's not so much the cocktail. It's the whiskey
Okay.
or port wine. Like port wine's the top of my list. That kind of stuff kind of jumps over the cocktails for me.
Okay. That's a good segue into mine because I wanted to go Scotch, right? Just plain Scotch. Doesn't matter which one. I love them all. I love them peaty. I love them not so peaty. Whatever, just give me a Scotch. That's my jam. But I know it's not the best because it's my palate. I know we're gonna get a little subjective. All of this is gonna be a little subjective, but I couldn't put it as the best because, and I talked about it a little bit on another episode. I think it was the beach one for pina coladas because I love rum and I
Yeah.
love pineapple. And then I discovered recently there's something else similar to the pina colada out there, and it's called the Goombay Smash. Do you guys know of this? Do you guys know
No.
of this? It's a bunch of pineapple juice, a little bit of probably orange juice or lemon juice, something citrusy, and then four different kinds of rum, just shaken up and strained, garnished with some extra little fruit. It's the fruity cocktail that I was looking for on the beach. But it's not like a slushy form like the daiquiri. So I'm going the Goombay Smash. It meets all the criteria. It's super boozy. It's super easy to drink. It's so, and I love rum. Like if my second one down, if it's not scotch and whiskey, it's definitely rum. Give me all the rum, 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 rum. Why is it gone? Because I drank it all.
Nice.
That's why. So give me the Goombay Smash.
Aged rums are where it's at, man.
Yeah, my
Um,
Ron Zacapa is
yeah,
always a 23 year.
Yeah,
yeah.
give me the Kirk and Sweeney any
Yummy.
day.
Dude,
Yeah.
Centenario makes some phenomenal rums. Actually, you know what? I'm gonna real quick, Drew, before you go, I'm gonna throw a Cuba Libre, simple and sweet and amazing in the
Yeah.
mix because I do love rum. So I'm gonna throw a little Cuba Libre. As long as I get my little umbrella, I'm happy.
Let's hear it. Drew. That is your
Uh,
real name.
it is. So since everybody else did a little bit of everything, I'll just go down my list. If we're talking light, easy drinking, and
Mhm.
I probably have mentioned most of these at some point, but light, easy drinking, just middle of the day type of cocktail, low ABV, give me the Aperol Spritz any day. It's a very nice orange liqueur with a little bit of prosecco, a little bit of soda water, orange slice in there, and it actually is served in other countries as like one of their national drinks. Just you can find it at any cafe basically, and you can have like 15 of them before you really start to feel it hardcore. If we're going for a harder cocktail where you want to taste the alcohol and make it very simple, the caipirinha, Brazil's national drink, basically made with their version of rum, is just sugar, lime juice, and their version of rum, which is called cachaça. Mix it all in a glass, pour it over ice. You can have it on a beach, you can have it in a coconut, you can have it anytime, and about two of them will have you on the floor.
Is that the one Danny was talking about?
I'm sure that Danny and Brett have had it
because they were
since
in
they've been to Brazil.
yeah.
Yeah, it's one of those like they will make it for you quote unquote table side at while you're sitting on the beach. They'll just come up, they have a little cart and they'll make it for you in the glass, and it's very easy. You don't have to shake it, just pour all the ingredients in the glass, stir it around a little bit, and it's very boozy, but the lime and the sugar balance it out a lot. It's so good, especially on a beach. And then if we're talking straight liquor, to this day, the best liquor I've ever had in my entire life is a mezcal. It's by Del Maguey. It's called Iberico. And what they do is they basically make this mezcal, and then during the second distillation, they put an Iberico ham in the distillation basket, and it just brings this umami flavor to it, this saltiness, a little bit of savory. And I got the chance to taste it one time at a bar where the guy was doing basically a special to be like, this bottle is stupid expensive and I'm going to sell it to everybody at cost. And everybody at the bar got to taste it. I've never put anything in my mouth liquor wise that was as delicious as that was. It was just to this day one of my absolute favorite things in the entire world. They also do one
Doesn't
that's
sound very kosher. Just saying.
they also do one
Not
that's
really.
they do a chicken instead
Oh, okay.
of the ham, and that one's also, I think that one's pechuga, and they're both very very good. But if I could find a bottle, I would buy it off the shelf in a minute. I think it's around
So can I
$200-ish.
can I just try to explain this in my head or out loud so it doesn't just sit in my head and I get it wrong later? They distill it once,
Mhm.
so the alcohol evaporates and it condenses and it comes back down as liquor. And then once they've secured enough of that, they then put an Iberico ham in there, superheat it until it evaporates again into another cask or flask or whatever, and then that's the final product.
I don't know if that's the final product.
On in at premise, like high
Yeah.
level. Okay.
Yes, they do the same thing with gin. Basically, you make vodka first, and then you put a little basket of herbs in the distillation thing, and that's kind of what gives you all of those, more of the nose to it.
Hold on.
Then,
Are you saying gin is just vodka? Did
yeah,
I not know this?
gin is
Well, it's all just distilled spirit.
yeah, all liquor is basically
Well,
vodka.
no, because they're made with different
They're
vegetables,
made with different grains. Yeah.
Yeah, different grains, different fruits, different.
But like whiskey
things.
comes from directly from, maybe it's distilled a bunch of different times. Whiskey, Scotch all comes from directly from the grain. But you're saying gin is twice distilled vodka with herbs.
It's not that simplified, but yeah.
It does, so they don't make gin from a different. My mind is blown. I didn't know that. I guess I maybe assumed at some point, but like,
And I will say for a lot of the gins, especially the ones that have very specific recipes, yeah, they'll put some of those herbs in the initial distillation.
sure.
But the majority of the things that you're getting, the sugars that the yeast eats to make the alcohol initially,
Yeah.
are potatoes or rice,
Right.
or just neutral grain. What we call it neutral grain spirit.
Yeah.
In the industry is all of that can be anything you can make bread out of, or some sort of, it's very starchy thing that has a lot of sugars to it. It's all the same thing.
Probably, yeah, it's probably an easier comparison to the initial distilled spirit you get from whiskey over like vodka, because vodka is usually a lot more corn, where whiskey you get corn, you get wheat, you get barley, you get rye. Gin's going to be more along the wheat, barley, rye level, less of the corn, less of the potato, if that makes sense. More of those grains as opposed to like the.
So if what you're saying is, if everything is vodka, that makes it like we have to pick a Russian vodka to make it as the best drink, right?
Absolutely not.
No.
But everything is vodka. It's got to be
will
the
not
best.
be on this list.
I mean, we would need a whole other episode to talk about it because a spirit just completely distilled from what you would make white whiskey from tastes very different from what you would make potato vodka or rice vodka or neutral grain vodka.
You could say everything is moonshine to start out.
There you go. All right, so this is our list. We've got the Goombay Smash. We've got Scotch. We've got Pandarin, because I like saying it. Pandarin, Portwood, the Cuba Libre. I didn't write down your other ones, but I got
Cuba Libre is perfect. That's all I want.
Yeah. The Aperol Spritz, the Caipirinha, and the Mezcal. From that list, what's the best non-American alcoholic beverage? I'm gonna go ahead and assume my two are not going to win because I already disqualified Scotch basically, and I don't think you guys are gonna go for the Goombay Smash because that's just might be a little too niche, and I understand that. I do like the idea of the Cuba Libre though, because I don't know if it's of this list and of the things I've had that I've had, and I'd be okay with that. Or the Caipirinha, whatever it is. I can't talk. That sounded really good, but I've never had it, so I don't know.
Yeah, I mean, this is honestly, I can't pick a one. It's not possible for someone like me to do that. I mean, every day I want something different, and I think Drew, you're pretty similar. That even though we have our go-tos, give me the option to have a different drink every day, and I'm going to take that option. So while I love Cuba Libres and Mai Tais and margaritas and caipirinhas, I can't pick a favorite. If I was going to pick a favorite, it's gonna be one straight spirit that's my favorite over everything else, and then I'll make 100 different cocktails out of it. So I like our list. It's a good list.
I'm kind of the same opinion as Ben that drink what you like, and there's a billion different situations where you're going to drink something different based on what effect you want, how you're feeling that day, what food you're eating, where you are at the time. Yeah, there's just too many different situations where what I want to drink is based on where and what I'm doing at the time.
Well, you guys have no cojones. I don't appreciate you guys not. And I think what we need to do is when we all meet each other here in like a week and a half, we just got to do a taste test between all of these.
One of each.
Yeah, Pandaren is selling at Total Wine for only $115. Sounds like a great Christmas bonus to myself. I'm sure someone can make a Cuba Libre.
Yeah, it's easy.
And a Goombay Smash if we wanted to.
Make some Aperol Spritz.
Yeah, that's probably easy. The other ones, I don't know if they're easily made. The other two you mentioned, Drew, I'm sure they're easily made. I don't know if they're easily.
You could probably get Danny to buy some cachaça for caipirinhas because I know that he and Britt really like them.
Okay,
and it's similar enough to tequila that everybody, or not tequila, sorry, rum, that everybody should like it.
Okay, well then we've got some homework.
I might make everyone Negronis just because everyone's so.
That wasn't on the list, Ben.
I know
that wasn't on the list.
Everyone minus me and maybe Drew are so anti-gin. And
I love a good Negroni, dude.
I mean, now that I'm just thinking about it, I probably should have thrown it out there.
That would not have won.
They're very situational for me.
Oh.
Those are the nights I want something a little bit darker and more nuanced, I guess.
Mm-hmm. If the Negroni is made well, I will enjoy it. I don't think I have ordered a Negroni at some places, but it's on a very rare occasion, and I had something else ahead of time to make sure that the bar knew what they were doing, and then I ordered a Negroni. I feel like it's one of those drinks that because it's gin, you can't mess it up, because if you do mess it up, it's just gin and it tastes bad. Whereas like if you mess up a margarita, it's real strong It's tequila. Everyone's expecting it. Oh, it's a Manhattan. At least there's bourbon. Like it's fine. It's okay.
Yeah.
But like a Negroni, if I get a bad one and it's just gin, I'm like, this is gross. I don't want this anymore.
It's a little not situational, but generational. It
Mhm.
doesn't hit our generation the same way. I mean, our parents' generation, Campari was just, I mean, everybody was drinking drinks.
Yep.
So I get that Negroni doesn't hit the same way. For me, I guess, like when I make Negronis, I like them better when I make them as opposed to like I'm in a bar or something. 100%. So yeah, it's definitely more that you have to be in that full on I'm making different cocktails type of mood.
Is there a
So
specific time that you make Negronis?
all the time.
All the time?
I yeah, terrible segue.
Terrible segue. Check. Got it.
I'm leaving.
Don't you dare. Don't you do it. Hey, real quick. You listening? Cool. Do me a favor. On your app, wherever you're listening to this podcast, there's a button to follow or subscribe or some sort of a notification type bell. Whatever you do, don't click them. Don't click those buttons. Don't do it. Or click it. Whatever it doesn't matter. Just fine. It's fine. It's fine. Just click it. It's cool. Just do whatever you want. Preach. Guys, what is the appropriate time to actually start drinking? Before anyone answers, I think everyone's going to go ahead and say every time's the appropriate time. But if we take that option out, what's the best? What's the most appropriate time to start drinking?
Travis, you should go first this time.
Okay. I tried to think about this, and I think as a parent, it's a little different because I always want to be semi on and present when I'm in charge of the children in case anything happens. I need to be able to drive, right? So I always have that like thing in the back of my head. I'm sure not every parent's like that. And that doesn't mean I can't moderate myself, but I don't want to like go, 3-4 hours while watching the kids and have 6 drinks and not be able to drive if I needed to. So that being said, if I'm assuming it's like a Saturday and I'm watching the kids, if they go to bed around 8, just for math's sake, I'm going to say 6 p.m. is an appropriate time to start drinking. I could be very easily swayed because I'm in a unique situation to 4 o'clock because there's happy hours and things like that. There's other situational things. But I think if I'm like trying to be objective and find one answer that could really fit for any situation, it would be 6 p.m.
Yeah, and I'll kind of blend a little bit of everything because obviously, like if you have kids, it's different.
Right.
If you're married and don't have kids, that's different. If you're single, we all have kind of a different perspective on it, and all of our jobs are wildly different too. So it just kind of depends. I think for me in my specific time in life right now, I feel like the majority, a lot of times, drinking is very much a social thing.
Mhm.
You have like the beers or whatever, or a few whiskeys before bed. But if I'm like drinking, we're either doing this, like podcasting, or I'm going out with friends for dinner or something like that. So in general, I would say it's a kind of similar, Travis. I would say anywhere between the 4 to 6 p.m. period, because a
Okay.
lot of times that's when the change over between people either getting off of work or going on to work, or just that's the kind of golden hour
Right.
of the majority of people, is between that mode where like they can have a few either before work or they're getting off of work, and everybody can kind of relax and have some social drinks together. I know we took it off the table, but I mean I drink for a living. I taste with people during the day. I've drank as early as 9 o'clock in the morning, or 9 o'clock at night. So
Yeah, I mean, I've awakened and went to the refrigerator and pulled a beer out and started drinking again. We've all had a morning beer for sure.
Well, and I do think it's situational too, for like um a couple months ago when we went on vacation to Rick's beach house. I don't think 10 o'clock in the morning is a far stretch to say let's all have a mimosa or a beer.
I'd whiskey my coffee at 8:30.
Or some Baileys or anything like that. We're legitimately not doing anything but walking from where we are to the beach and back again. So I do think it is kind of situational, but if I had to give it a broad spectrum of we're just doing our day-to-day life, I think that 4 to 6 p.m. time frame is generally the most acceptable.
All right, Mr. I have thoughts. Go for it.
Dude, I have so many thoughts on this. And I think the biggest thing is because what is the stereotype with what's acceptable in regular everyday life is that 4 to 6, that 5 o'clock somewhere type of thing. But this is the Bar Banter podcast, and as far as I am concerned, there is no appropriate time for start drinking because, and I'm not just using it as generic, because it is 100% situational. And the reason I say that is because the cookie cutter 9 to 5 job doesn't exist for 95% of people anymore. There's so many different setups for people in their careers now. People can work early, people can work late, people work through the night, especially with remote work. So it has to be 100% situational based on what's going on, not only with your work, but with your family. Like 9 a.m. brunch on Sunday, I'm having a mimosa. 9 a.m. Saturday when I'm driving my kids to soccer, I'm not drinking. Like there's a big difference there. If I'm bartending and I get home at 3 a.m., I'm gonna have a drink. But if I woke up to take care of my crying baby at 3 a.m., I'm not gonna have a drink. So as far as I'm concerned, it has to be situational because we are now in a society that everybody's schedule is just so drastically different. And Drew, you made a great point that I was going to make too. I worked in a job for years that my first tastings would start at 9 a.m. and I would start drinking probably 3 or 4 days a week at 9 a.m. because that's what I had to do for my job. And it's a $1 billion industry. So there are hundreds of thousands of millions of people in this industry that do that for a living. So I have a hard time saying a specific time.
Sure.
But the time that I kept coming back around to is if the situation makes it acceptable, then 9 a.m. is the appropriate time to start drinking. Now you have to have the caveat that the situation makes it acceptable, but
sure
9 a.m. is if I had to put a time on it.
Okay, so let me do this because I had a feeling this was going to happen, and I'm okay with it. I want to flip this on its head and say, what time is it? What's the earliest time it would be inappropriate to be wasted? So, like, not start drinking, not 2-3 drinks in. I'm talking like falling over yourself, bro. It's like 10 a.m. type of shit. Like that takes out the job. I know you might get a little drunk after 4 or 5 tastings within the hour. Yeah, you might be a little buzzed. That's not what I'm talking about. I'm talking wasted, slurring your words, double vision, shouldn't get behind the wheel of a vehicle kind of thing. What time is it inappropriate to be wasted?
I mean, I would say before noon. And I keep going back to, one of the biggest industries in our, in this country is based off of football. And every Saturday, every Sunday for, several months out of the year, we have tailgating, and it's grown into this national thing where it is normal to have 12 o'clock, 1 o'clock games, but you start tailgating and drinking at 7, 8, 9 in the morning. Now, if you're going to a 12 o'clock game, you started drinking at 8 in the morning and you show up drunk, you only had lunch. Yeah. I mean, I get it. I get you're celebrating. I might look at you a little different, like, I'm sorry that you had to get drunk so early. So I would say for me, again, situational would be noon if you have something that you're doing. Now, if you're sitting at home watching movies and it's noon and you're wasted, then yeah, you've got a problem. But I'm gonna go with noon.
Okay, Drew.
Yeah, I follow a little bit along the same lines. Finding a time, like a specific time of day, is hard, but I think the point where there's a lot of day left to go and somebody inevitably has to take care of you because you've been drinking so much. So I think noon is a good one. I think anytime, because I think before noon, they have a chance to either put you to bed and you can rally for the
That's a good
nighttime
point.
brigade. So I think anywhere between noon and like 3 o'clock, because that's generally it's between meals for most people. You either are in transit to something that you're doing or what you've done before, but at 3 o'clock you still, if it's an off, if you're not working, if it's an off day and like people are just celebrating together, you still have a lot to do between 3 o'clock and say 10 or midnight. That's a lot of time left. So if you're just shit-faced drunk by 3 o'clock and people have to make sure that you're okay, you're inconveniencing them.
Yeah.
Not just yourself.
So Ben is saying before noon. Drew, you're saying between noon and 3.
Yeah.
Okay.
So if we take the random fun day of tailgating or
Right.
Saturday or Sunday out of it, then I'm good with 3 o'clock kind of being a cutoff. I'd even go as like 4 as a cutoff. Like, don't get wasted before 4. You know, if you take the situational, crazy tailgate fun day or giant party at your house during the day type of thing out.
And 4 is actually even good with me too, because even in a work environment, if somebody that I'm working with or tasting with or doing anything with is drunk by 4 o'clock, anything I do, because sometimes I work from 4 to 7 or 8, 9 at night, that's 4 hours that then I'm just having to take care of another person or they're having to take care of me. So yeah, I could see a little bit later. So I think if you're shit faced by 4 o'clock in any given circumstance, you're probably wasting the rest of either your or somebody else's time of night.
Okay, so Drew, are you still on the, we'll say noon to 4, or are you saying wake up to 4?
I'd still say noon to 4, because I do think if you wake up and get shit faced real quick before noon, you have a chance to sleep it off a little bit and still participate.
Yeah. I'm glad you said that.
In some stuff.
Yeah. Get drunk, go into the stadium, sleep during the game, and then leave the stadium sober. There you go.
As long as I can get you into the stadium, sleep during the game, that's fine.
I like it.
Ben, do you remember what?
Probably don't remember.
You were at least there. You were 100% there. What time did we start drinking and stop drinking on the pontoon boat at Nick's wedding? Do you remember what time we?
That was like 100 years ago.
Yeah, I know, but I vividly remember getting very drunk.
If we got very drunk, then I don't remember except that I know I was at the wedding. I was there.
Like it was either you or the other guy that was with us, maybe one other person, I don't know, made me go back up to the lodge and eat a bunch of chicken fingers and French fries to sober up before the wedding. Luckily, I'm a pretty happy-go-lucky drunk, or I'm just a very quiet drunk, and I'm not an angry drunk, so it would have been fine. But I was toasted. I was toasty, and I don't remember what time I stopped drinking to sober up enough for the wedding to then do a choreographed dance to Backstreet Boys.
Yeah, that's when I started drinking more, when you told me we were going to do that.
Yeah. So
I remember that. And then when we got back from the wedding and started playing games, you got drunk again. I remember that.
yeah. Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Oh I started getting drunk at the wedding again. I only needed to sober up for
Good times.
the 2 hours of the wedding, if you want to call it that. So okay, I like the noon to 4. I was probably in Ben's camp before of like, yeah, don't be wasted before noon. But if you got time to sober up and you're not, and you're not impacting anyone's day, I like the noon to 4. Maybe 11 to 3, whatever that is, that kind of after lunch before dinner type of time frame.
Yes.
Yeah.
Don't be wasted during that time frame.
If you're going to be wasted when it's daylight, don't impede on somebody else's good time.
Great.
That's it.
Great way to put it. Especially if you're drinking the worst liquor ever. Guys, we're just going to call a spade a spade. What's the worst liquor? What is it? Can we get rid of it? Is that possible?
Yes. Go ahead, Drew.
I'll jump out there because I think mine has kind of come into a little bit of a people know about it nowadays more so than they used to, and I think it used to be a little bit more of an industry thing, but now it's just bad, and it may be a cop out a little bit, but it's Malort.
I don't know what that is.
It's a liquor that's very famous in Chicago as like that final drink of the night, much like Rumpelmann's or any kind of after dinner liqueur that you just take a shot of. And it tastes like straight gasoline. Band-Aids, gasoline, sweat, barnyard. It is one of the worst things I've ever put in my mouth, and that's saying something. It just has no redeeming value whatsoever. You can't make cocktails out of it. I'm sure people have, but it's meant as one of those rite of passages if you go to Chicago.
Okay.
And you go out on the town and you get drunk, that people want you to take a shot of Malort. Has a similar taste to Sambuca or any of those really heavy black licorice anise flavored things, but it is just absolutely god awful. And I'm a person who I look for things that are weird, and I like tasting liquors and liqueurs that are maybe not to everyone's palate. Like I like the weird stuff. It's like licking a dirty Band-Aid. I don't like it at all.
Obviously that one's not good. Okay, and where would you put it, just so I have a frame of reference to the only thing I can think of when you mentioned it? Where would if Malort's maybe a 0, where is Jaeger?
Oh, you can do some things with Jaeger to make it taste better. And
no, I know that I'm not saying Jaeger's the worst, but like
okay,
it's the only thing that Drew mentioned that I have a frame of reference of.
Scale of 1 to 10,
yeah,
and I'm more talking like doing shooting it, not just sipping it. I would put Jaeger as about a 2.
Okay.
For me, just because the flavor profile of Jaeger is so similar to a lot of things and very similar to Malort, but it actually has some redeeming qualities, whereas Malort does not.
Gotcha.
Malort would be a -15 for me. Jaeger's about a 2.
Got it. Mine, and this I could go broad category, but I'm gonna single one out because it was one of the worst things I'd ever tasted in my entire life. Was the whipped cream Pinnacle vodka.
Oh, it's so bad.
It
it's so
doesn't
bad.
taste like whipped cream.
Holy fuck!
At
I
all.
forgot. I had
Dude,
forgotten
The
about it.
Pinnacle line
Honestly,
is so
It
bad.
yeah, that's why I say it could be a category. It could just be all of Pinnacle vodka
Yeah.
or Pinnacle flavored vodka.
The
And
whipped
like
cream. Yeah.
Smirnoff, not good. Pinnacle's worse
Yeah.
for sure. So my like the way I'm gonna say this is Pinnacle whipped cream vodka, but if you guys want, we can get rid of all of the flavored Pinnacle vodkas. I'd be okay with that too.
Yeah.
Just like especially because I think with Malort, maybe it's a rite of passage. It's like gonna put some hair on your chest. It's not good. Everyone knows it's not good, and you're just gonna go into it and you're just gonna have to do it. Whereas at least with like Pinnacle with the whipped cream vodka, you think maybe this might be a little good. It might be a little sweet and have some. No, it's just garbage and burn. There's nothing else. It's horrific, and I will never do a shot of that ever again.
Yeah, I will agree with you on that. All right, for me, mine is one that I'm sure a lot of people, especially if you went through college, have tried it, except that a lot of people in college probably tried it in a big giant punch bowl, like a hunch punch or something like that. I unfortunately had the opportunity to take a shot of it, and it was the worst decision I think I've ever made, and that's Everclear. It's just straight 190-ish proof liquor. It is absolutely disgusting. It's what's used to raise the alcohol volume and mix drinks for I guess for people just getting drunk in college. I don't know. I don't actually know any cocktails that uses Everclear, but I've had shots of Rumplemans, I've had shots of Jaeger, I've had shots of almost everything I can think of. That it's like nails on a chalkboard when I think about a shot of Everclear. As far as liquors go and grain spirits, just the worst tasting. Like and I was gonna say like vodka is one of the worst liquors because you don't get any flavor. Everclear is like no flavor plus ass or plus scratches, like chalkboard scratches. Like it's awful. That's my vote.
Real quick, just quick Wikipedia search for Everclear. Everclear is also used as a household food grade cleaner, disinfectant, or stove fuel alcohol because its fumes and odor are less offensive than isopropyl, rubbing, and denatured alcohol, which are toxic to breathe and drink. It's also used for extracting flavor from other ingredients, to make infusions and whatever that other word is because of its neutral flavor profile.
Yeah. So that's why it's good if you want to like ramp up the proof of your hunch punch.
Okay.
Because it'll kind of grab the flavor. But when you take a straight shot of it, it's like drinking straight moonshine, except moonshine is going to be a little bit lower proof. A lot of times you get maybe a little flavor from the corn. I don't know. Everclear, I don't. It's just awful.
Two things about this. The only two things I've ever used Everclear for is cleaning and to make bitters.
Oh, is that how you make bitters?
You can use really any really high proof alcohol, but if you want just clean, nothing taste and just that. So I have a story about two of my old roommates who we worked in this place called 404 Kitchen for a little while. It's a whiskey bar, but they had a prep kitchen where we made all of the mixers, the juices, the different liqueurs and stuff and everything. There was a specific type of Everclear that literally on the bottle it had a giant label that said caution, flammable. This is 98% alcohol, the highest percentage basically you can get in a bottle. And they're about to, I can't remember why, but they were throwing out a bottle, so I took it home and put it into an empty bottle of nice vodka that we had and told my roommates, was like, oh man, they like gave this to me for free. They were getting rid of it. Just there's a couple ounces left and we're discontinuing it, and had them take a shot of it each and just immediate vomiting.
Yeah.
Because it literally is the closest thing to poison you can get to putting in your body without immediately going to the hospital. It is so nasty, especially if it's charcoal filtered, and a lot of them are. It's just yeah. It's not good.
But so what I'm getting from this is that it has a purpose and it has a redeeming quality of being used in bitters or as a cleaning solution.
I will say when you're using it for bitters, you do eventually tone it down to like
Sure.
80.
Yeah, you go for the lower proof, like so like the 150,
you add,
the
you
160
add water
proof.
until
Yeah.
you can actually
Well,
digest it.
exactly. Yeah, and while Everclear can go up to 180, 190 plus proof, and I'm sure it's a great cleaning solution. I would imagine the one that I had and the one that people use for drinks is probably in the the 150-ish range, which is also flammable. So
Okay. Well, so our options are Malort, Everclear, and the Pinnacle vodka line of flavored vodkas.
Hard. I think all of them have terrible.
I'm good with all three. They all suck.
I'll take Malort out of it just
Okay.
because I do think the only redeeming quality of it is that gag of you're in this certain place and you've got to do this to kind of become part of the club type of thing.
Sure. Like Tide
Whereas-
Pods.
Exactly, or butt chugging, or any of those things we did as young 20-somethings.
Yesterday.
So it, as much as it's terrible and I don't think it deserves to exist, the other ones exist for absolutely no purpose whatsoever.
Okay.
Except for being a cleaning fluid. Like if you're drinking it and the main purpose of it is to clean things and disinfect them, you should really rethink what you're putting in your mouth.
So if you had to pick one, because I don't know if Ben and I are leaving our camps, you could just flip a coin, or you could just go with mine. Either one, viable option.
I honestly think Pinnacle.
Yes,
I'm good with that.
Woo!
That Pinnacle whipped cream is one of the worst things I've ever had in my life.
And
awful.
I get it, Ben. I understand.
No argument. 1A, 1B.
Everclear does have other uses, and I'm okay with it existing because of that. Pinnacle, there's no if you
There's
try
no
to use
reason
that as
for it to exist.
if you tried to use that as a cleaning fluid,
It wouldn't work.
everyone would vomit because it just
Right.
smells so bad.
Yeah, and this was a great 3. Like, I think if any one of these, I don't know Malort, but the way you described it sounded terrible. So if either one of these won, this is a good position to be in. We all came guns blazing.
I'll bring some Malort to the cabin.
Please don't. Please, God, don't do that. What? I don't have COVID. It's time for last call. Guys, gentlemen, it's time for last call. We're going to go Drew and then Ben. This is an alcohol related would you rather. Are you ready? Let's go. Drew, would you rather only be able to drink your least favorite alcoholic beverage for the rest of your life or never drink alcohol again?
Never drink again.
Okay. Ben.
No, I can mix my least favorite with a bunch of other stuff. I'll go with the least favorite.
Fair enough. Drew, would you rather have unlimited free cocktails, but only on weekdays, or have one drink a week, but it's your absolute favorite? It's a dumb one. Thanks, ChatGPT.
Unlimited.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'll go with unlimited too.
I can find ways
Fair.
around that.
I'll get a job on the weekends.
Yeah, right.
Don't die.
I won't. Drew, would you rather be the designated driver every time you go out with friends, or have your friends always pick your drinks for you without knowing your preferences?
Pick drinks for me, assuming they're paying.
Yeah, I'm gonna let my friends pick my drinks. I think I hang out with a lot of people that like similar things to me.
We're not paying. Drew, would you rather accidentally send a text confessing your love for someone to your boss, or take a shot of the spiciest hot sauce every time you take a sip of alcohol?
Text my boss. He wouldn't give a shit.
That's fair. Ben.
He would make fun of me for it.
Yeah, I text my boss. It's fine.
Okay. Drew, would you rather attend a party where everyone is a terrible dancer, but the drinks are amazing, or a party with great dancers, but only non-alcoholic beverages?
Why is that even a thing?
I don't know. It's ChatGPT. Maybe people like to dance. I don't know.
Terrible drink.
Basically, do you like drinking,
Oh,
or
wait,
do you
no.
like dancing? You want
Terrible dancers, great drinks.
Yeah.
That sounds like the best of every world to me.
Yeah, I mean,
agree.
the more you drink, the worse you are at dancing, anyways, right? So,
Yep.
great
Or the
drinks.
best. Drew, would you rather spill a drink on your crush during a date, or accidentally break a glass in a fancy restaurant while toasting?
Break a glass easily.
Spill the drink, then she's got to come back to my place and wash her clothes.
Oh, that's clever. Drew, would you rather have a lifetime supply of your favorite alcohol, but never be able to share it with anyone, or always have to share your drinks, but never get to drink your favorite?
Lifetime supply.
Yeah,
Any
I know.
day.
Yeah.
That's a pretty easy one. Lifetime supply of my favorite.
Okay.
Who vetted these questions?
Definitely not me. I just typed in a search. Drew, would you rather attend a karaoke night after a few drinks and forget all the lyrics, or be the only sober person at a karaoke party?
Only sober person.
Yeah, if I remember the lyrics, I want to be sober.
Okay. Drew, would you rather have the ability to instantly sober up after a night of drinking, or always wake up without a hangover regardless of how much you drink?
Ooh,
That's a good one.
that is a good one.
Because sober doesn't mean hungover.
I think wake up without a hangover.
I haven't had a hangover in a decade, and I drink all the time, so I'm going to go with instantly sober.
Okay. Last one. Drew, would you rather accidentally start dancing on a table at a party after a couple of drinks, or sing loudly and off key without realizing it after a couple of drinks? You have to sing or you have to dance after like 2 drinks.
I feel like we do the second one all the time anyways, so I'm gonna go with dance. Why not?
Okay.
Yeah, I'm going to go with dance too. It's more embarrassing, but it also might attract more people to a good time.
Yeah, what's life without whimsy, you know? All right. Well, I'm not going to go over those. Just made myself laugh.
Travis died.
Well, guys, this was a fun one. All alcohol related. For those of you guys who are listening, follow us on Twitter, follow us on Instagram, follow us on YouTube. Subscribe to the channel. There's a link in the description. If you go down, you click on like the description of this episode, there's a cool little link there that says support the podcast. You can donate to the podcast, give us just a little extra change so we can use it to buy drinks, make better content, buy a new home for Drew, buy a new bicycle with ribbons, buy the ribbon bicycles for Ben, whatever our little whimsy desires. So just remember that this is our podcast and you're just along for the ride. Okay, bye.
Also, like and subscribe.
Yeah, that too.